everyone, this is your astrology forecast for May 2016. Thank you for joining me. It's really nice to be with you today. This forecast is primarily for people who have a sun sign Capricorn. Then it's for people with a rising sign or an ascendant in Capricorn. And then if you have a moon in Capricorn, this also applies. So a couple of things going on in May. First of which is that two of your personal planets are in retrograde. From the 28th of April to the 22nd of May, Mercury is in retrograde, in Taurus in your 5th house of romance and children. So there may be some communication errors when it comes to those sectors of your life, especially in a kind of practical way. So making plans with partners, making plans with children, arranging holidays, could be a little bit difficult. Things may take a little bit longer than you intended. So watch out for that, on top of the usual kind of problems with, communication devices and all of that stuff. Mars is also in retrograde, and that's in retrograde in Sagittarius in your 12th house, and it will stay in retrograde from the 17th of April until the 29th of June. So when it comes to really exerting yourself in matters of religion and connecting with some sort of higher force or higher power, I really think your focus is going to be on other things. Okay? I don't think you're going to be particularly interested. I don't think you're going to be putting a lot of effort into that side of things. And that's okay. I think what you're much more aligned with is communicating, work, exchanging information with other people, and looking what is measurable, what you can learn, what makes sense on the here and now. Not always, but certainly this month you're going to feel much more aligned with that side of things. Now, on the 1st of May, you do have a grand trine in Earth, and that stays there all month. A grand trine is always an area of ease and talent. It connects your Pluto in your 1st house, Jupiter in your 9th, and the Sun in your 5th. This is really a dreamy, magical placement, because all month, if you go on a trip, if you travel, if you take practical action to expand your life, you can really transform the way you see yourself, and you can also discover a wonderful romantic adventure. So you could meet someone new, you could have a wonderful whirlwind romance here in May. Remember that grand trine is there for you all month. So anytime you travel during this month, you really open yourself up to those possibilities. So I would highly recommend that you make some time to go away. On the 2nd and 3rd of May, Venus goes into Taurus in your 5th house of romance and relationships and children. Venus is the planet of love and beauty. So she's in the practical, physical sign of Taurus, so it couldn't be any better when it comes to romance for you. And you can really expect something to happen in that area of your life. If you're single, please go somewhere you haven't been before, explore and meet someone exciting, wonderful, interesting, fiery. If you're in a relationship, that will pick up. It will be really good for you at the beginning of May, especially on a physical level. On the 4th of May, there's another grand trine that appears in the chart, and this one is on top of the existing Earth one. This one is in fire. It connects Saturn in your 12th, your rising in Leo, and your moon in your 4th in Aries. And this is very interesting because of the lack of movement in your spiritual life. What you're really interested in is other people. Okay, other people in institutions, other people as institutions, other people on a grand scale, individuals on a personal level, family members. Those are the things that make you really feel alive and like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So again, that points me towards your focus ought to be much more on the people in your life at this time, rather than on the unmanifest, which I think previously you've tried to explore and you've really made a lot of headway there. The focus, you'll feel much more alive and like things are going your way if you focus on people. And there's a reason you should, because you have all of this potential for romance, and that's where your attention should be pulled towards. On the 5th of May, the moon starts to conjunct the midheaven. The moon is in Aries in your 4th, the midheaven is in Taurus in your 5th. Take charge of your relationships. Really take a risk and say, I want this to be, you know, if you have a dream for a relationship, I want this to be magical, I want us to go away together, I want us to live together, I want us to get married. If you have any kind of notions of anything like that, taking things to the next level, do that at the beginning of May. The outcome to following up on those desires will be very positive, and this really is 10 out of 10 for you when it comes to romance and relationships. Really, really good time of the year for you. On the 6th of May, the new moon occurs in Taurus, again in your 5th house. New moon is when the moon is totally black. It pulls in new energy. It's the physical, it's the body. It pulls this new energy into the sector of romance for you, and you can expect loads of movement there. Remember that Mercury is in retrograde, so there may be a couple of complications, but that's going to be part of the fun for you, okay? So that things don't go smoothly. Those aspects will lead to you really having a wonderful adventure, having fun, and don't expect it to be 100% smooth. It won't be. On the 7th, the Sun and the Moon, they kind of move on from each other after that new moon, and the retrograde Mercury pops into the middle, in between them. Okay, so any kind of conflict, confusion will heighten on the 7th of May, and then ease off again as the day ends. On the 9th of May, Jupiter goes direct. Jupiter is the planet of good luck, good fortune, success, growth, expansion, and it's in your 9th house of expansion, growth, travel, education. So all of those things can become bigger, better, more wonderful. Jupiter spends a lot of time in retrograde, okay? It's an outer planet, it moves very slowly. It spends half the year in retrograde. So the fact that it goes direct on the 9th is significant. There will be more good luck. This giant monster of a planet moves forward, and all of the good luck, the sprinkling of fairy dust kind of starts moving forward again, and things look much better. Okay, so really get out and about in May. You, out of all of the signs, it's the most important for you to actually go somewhere. On the 10th, the moon starts to trine Neptune. Neptune is in your 3rd house. Neptune is the dream planet of the unmanifest, the unseen. It's your connection to the other side. And the moon in Cancer in your 7th is relationships. So you can communicate with people who have passed on, whether you are intuitive or psychic or not. I mean, we're all psychic. Some people just don't tap into that. Certainly, if you're interested in it, there's a potential for you to make contact yourself with someone on the other side. If you do feel like you need closure with someone who's passed away, or you want to make contact with your ancestors to see what your family gifts are, anything like that, then go see a medium or something like that. The veil is very thin on the 10th of May, and you can really get what you're looking for in that sense. On the 12th, a T-square appears. Jupiter and Neptune oppose each other, and they form a triangle with Saturn. Now, Neptune is in your 3rd, Jupiter is in your 9th. Communication on a spiritual level, travel on a physical, earthly level, both of those things serve as spirituality for you this month, and kind of supersede spirituality. So at the beginning of this reading, I mentioned, or forecast really, at the beginning, well, it is a reading for Capricorn, but at the beginning of this forecast, I said that spirituality was somewhat inaccessible to you, and that it feels somewhat labored, okay? So instead of that, if you focus on communicating and traveling, you will get that sense of communion, belonging, and that sense of, I'm doing something greater than. So just because you don't have like a direct line to the universe doesn't mean you're disconnected from it. You're still operating within it, and the way to maximize this month, and the way to get the most out of it, the way to have most fun and the most good luck, is by traveling. Please go somewhere. On the 13th of May, the moon is in Leo, on top of your rising sign, which is also in Leo, in your 8th house. This is a great day for you to do public speaking, to take charge of something, to be the leader, to step into the spotlight and have other people look at you. You will go down very well, whatever it is you have to share or communicate. This is your performance day, okay? This is the day when you're going to feel very comfortable in the spotlight, and when you can bring that across most effectively and in the most positive way. On the 14th, the moon goes into Virgo. It now joins Jupiter in the North Node in your 9th house, and it starts to square Saturn, which is in your 12th. And that energy is very, very strong until the 17th. So during this 3-day period, by traveling, and I'm sorry to just keep banging on about it, but by traveling, you can really make sense of what you want to do with your life on a working level, what you want to do with your life in a romantic sense, what you want your health to be. It's really a kind of a spring clean moment for you where you're saying, okay, it's the 14th of May 2016, I'm 20 years old, or I'm 40 years old, or I'm 60 years old. This is what I really want. It's kind of stepping back and planning for the future. So use that opportunity. You're really thinking clearly, and you can, it's like a timeout. You're getting a timeout from life to just step back from it and to re-plan. And that's really wonderful, because sometimes we need to plan what's going on. You know, live in the moment, live in the now, but sometimes it's very useful to have a game plan as to what you're trying to achieve. And these 3 days are a very good time to tap into that kind of energy. So, great ability to engage with information, plan for your happiness, to transform as an individual, and to make your life really reflect who you are on the inside. On the 17th, Mars begins to oppose the Sun, and these two now oppose each other for the rest of the month. Mars is in retrograde, so Mars is somewhat stifled. The soldier is just hopping along on one leg, okay? Think of it like that. And then we've got the Sun in Taurus in your 5th, which is that romp of romance and sex, okay? So focus on the physical, focus on the here and now, the people you're with, what you can achieve, what you can do. Don't focus on this somewhat lackluster sense of spirituality, because sometimes you're connected, sometimes you're not. It doesn't mean that it's not there. Really, the one relationship in your life you don't need to worry about is your relationship with the universe, with God, because that is really the one relationship where you're always loved perfectly and never judged. Okay. On the 18th of May, the moon begins to oppose Uranus. Uranus is in your 4th. The moon is in Libra in your 10th. This is a little bit of a out of the blue day. I think you're going to have a real sense of chaos when it comes to your family life or your working life. I think you're going to get some news that it's like a fire that needs to be put out from someone in your life, and it could be from the world of work or the world of family. Decide whether it's up to you to have to deal with it, but someone, I think, is going to appeal to you for help and make demands on you in some way. On the 19th of May, the rising sign begins to square Venus and the Sun. Oh, and this is another great day of you being the star, okay? Feeling totally alive, feeling totally like you're just having a good time. Capricorn, you really have the most fun in May, and love and romance can be superb. So, you know, going back a few days where one of your colleagues or your family members calls you for help, don't be in the country, be on holiday somewhere having a good time. They can get someone else to help you. They can get someone else to help them. I don't think it's major anyway, I think it's something trivial. So you really deserve to have a wonderful May, and I suggest you put yourself in a situation that allows you to do that. On the 21st of May, the full moon occurs in Sagittarius in your 11th house. Full moon coming to fruition, things blossoming. Sagittarius, the adventurer, the explorer. You can realize your hopes and dreams for May by traveling and by going somewhere. And I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself, but everything is pointing towards that. Learn about the world, discover something new. On the 22nd, Mercury goes direct. So any kind of miscommunications, any mishaps, especially when it came to children, romance, relationships, they clear up. Although as a sign, I don't think you have been particularly affected by this Mercury retrograde. And I think out of all the signs of the zodiac, I think you're one of the ones that was least affected by it. So I don't think it'll make too much of a difference to you. On the 23rd, the moon starts to conjunct Saturn in your 12th house. Again, the most comfortable place you're going to feel at home if you're not home, okay? If you're out and about traveling, doing something, you're going to feel most at ease. That's what this whole time is about for you, to go and discover something. On the 24th of May, Venus goes into Gemini. Venus is the planet of love and beauty. It stops being so focused on the physical, on the body, on sex, on love, and is much more focused now about ideas, communication, sharing ideas. And I think also gradually the shift is now more towards coming home eventually, expressing your ideas and engaging with information and ideas when it comes to work, and taking practical action when it comes to work, okay? So the party, the holiday is kind of coming to an end now, and it's back to work, back to normal living. On the 26th, another T-square occurs. This time, Saturn opposes the Sun, and it finishes off the triangle with Neptune, okay? Saturn in your 12th, the Sun in your 6th. Focus on the motivation really should be now to focus on work and to communicate, because your ideas and what you've learned over the last month and the information that you have is really going to be able to help other people. So you're really in a position now where you should be working again and you should be doing something, okay? That's going to benefit you in terms of your own finances. People will want to listen to you. You're adding value, so you will get value back. Mars goes into Scorpio on the 28th of May, and it retrogrades back into your 11th house there in Scorpio. Not a great day for you, not a great time for you, because you will start to gnaw away at your own feelings now. Resentful, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. You're really actually very ungrateful because you've had a really good month. So just realize that, okay? Because I've told you the whole month to really have fun, to make the most of it. At the end of the month, you're going to be a little bit upset anyway that you haven't had enough fun. So why not pack as much as you can into it? That's really your big priority. To explore something new, to have a whirlwind romance, and to throw caution to the wind, and not to be so responsible all the time. That's your homework. So as homeworks go, that's a pretty good one. Finally, the 29th of the month, the 30th and the 31st, there's a Grand Cross in the chart, okay, over this 3-day period. Grand Cross is a big square, lots of motivation, lots of energy. It connects Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, the Sun, and the part of Fortune, and your Moon, and your Neptune, and your South Node, okay? So, the desire to travel, the desire to be out and about is on some level still there, and is still pretty, there's a lot of potential for you to thrive if you do that. On the other hand, there is the need and the desire to communicate and work, and also to kind of like be a little bit angry and resentful, especially when it comes to your friends, I think. I think you're a little bit envious or jealous. There's a potential for you to envy your friends a little bit. So if you're going to communicate, focus on work instead, and then the communication to help people. So rather than envy your friends and say, well, you have a yacht and you spent the time in Saint-Tropez and I was just in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was snowed under and I didn't have a good time the way you did, then don't waste your time doing that. Just say, listen, I had a great May. Now it's time to get back to work, to use my gifts and talents to actually help other people and to take practical action. So instead of traveling now, I'm going to get busy and do things and use my skills to help other people. And that's the way to make the most of this month. You've got a great month ahead. I hope that gives you something to work with. If you've got any questions for me about your career or your love life or where you should be going with your career, then please get in touch with me for a personal reading. Go to gregoryscott.com, click on the readings tab, order your reading there. It's going to be more specific because I use your specific place of birth, time of birth, and date of birth. This reading is for all Capricorns, so obviously that's everyone born during that 1 month period, which makes it much broader. I can look at your specific chart, give you the answers that will help you achieve the things you want to achieve. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. I will be with you next month for the Capricorn forecast. I'm also here daily for the daily tarot reading and then all the other little bits and bobs I do. Have a wonderful May, and I'll speak to you soon.